Well, one of the guys hoping to hear his name heard on draft day just got done finishing his first and only year now at East Lansing, Michigan State's own Max Christie. Ryan, you and I spent the whole year watching this kid, and I think we both came to the same conclusion by the end of the year that we can't wait to see this kid come back and, grow a little bit more. And, well, that ain't happening anymore. So, projected to be an end of the first round pick. One of the teams that I was hearing that might end up grabbing him already have a couple Spartans on their squad in Triple J and X. The Memphis Grizzlies. Could we get 3 Spartans on one squad, Ryan?
You could. It's certainly possible. Those guys, I'm sure, would put in a good word for him, even though they never played with them. But I'm sure they've been back to the practice facility or around the team or whatever the case is. And it was a really peculiar decision, I guess, for Max Christie to stay in the NBA, stay in the NBA draft and not come back to school, when I think most people thought that he wasn't ready to make that leap yet. But the best way to get ready for the NBA, I guess, is by playing in the NBA. And he's going to get at least that opportunity, whether he starts off in the G League, he probably will, depending on where he's picked. But then you spend all that time playing basketball anyway. You don't have to worry about going to class or homework or whatever the case is that he's doing up there in East Lansing. And he's betting on himself. I hope it works out for him. I hope he's closer to, Jaren Jackson Jr., although he was picked way higher than he is like Deontay Davis, which sounds like the type of area where Max Christie will be picked. So he's not going to have as much stock into him as Deontay Davis did. But we will obviously see. I thought he was going to come back. I was hyped for him to come back. And I think he got a bit of a bad rap at Michigan State. If I was going to guess, he probably thought the offense was going to be a little bit different, or he had a bigger role on the offense, and then saw how the year went and just like, just if he feels like he's not going to be able to get better this next year at Michigan State because of just how, I guess, the offense is run, and if he doesn't feel like he utilizes his skills the best way, then go to the NBA, go to the G League, and get those reps kind of there in front of teams, in front of scouts all the time, in front of coaches all the time. It's a pretty good coach. So I really don't know. Like I said, I wished him the best. I thought, again, it was I don't know. I don't want to say like a crazy decision, but
it was surprising decision.
Yeah, definitely surprising. And then it seemed like it was trending that way for a little bit anyway. And I still just felt like I know it's what people are saying, and he's trending in that direction, but I just couldn't. I don't see how like it helped his game, or he felt like he was ready. But again, he's going to be taking this whole time playing basketball, and maybe he unlocks something these first couple years that he's probably not going to get a whole lot of playing time, and then he's able to develop and have a solid career.
It feels like the G League has just kind of changed things in general. It used to be if you were getting told again and again and again you are a lottery pick, you were leaving to go to the NBA draft. And if you were beginning of the second round, maybe the end of the first round, generally if you had years of eligibility left, especially if you were a freshman or maybe even a sophomore, you thought coming back to college was a good idea. You get a little more seasoning, you build your body more, all that. And that was the way it was. That's the way life was for those coming out of college and into the NBA once you didn't have to wait so many years to do it. And now with the G League and really, the NBA really taking interest, because when the G League was the D League, the NBA really didn't take that much interest in it. Then Gatorade got involved as a sponsor. D League becomes G League. Money gets behind it. Now you're seeing a lot more promotion for the G League than you did when it was the D League. And you're not stuck to if you are playing for the Drive, it's not only the team that's behind the Drive that can bring you up. Any NBA team has that ability. It's whatever they work out contract-wise on those two-way contracts. So it seems like this is a spot where Max will most likely end up. I'd be surprised if we're going to see him on a roster, next year, right away. It was a surprising, decision for me as well. I thought he should have come back. It's his life, and he has every right to make the decision he wants to make. But, we saw glimpses of what he could do especially a little bit earlier in the season, we saw a couple of great games from him, but it never really ascended from there. And I don't know if that's Izzo and the way he runs his offense, or if that was Max and him just not taking control of the situation the way that Izzo wanted it to. I'm not in those conversations. I'm not in that locker room. But, you look at his numbers and if all you're doing is, scoreboard watching and you see this kid average 9 points a game in college, 3.5 rebounds and 1.5 assists, you're going, what the heck are you doing even trying to go to the NBA? But, what you say makes a lot of sense as well, where you are the competition level you're playing against, who you're sitting in front of, who you're playing in front of, and the ability to make that jump immediately without having to deal with being a student. If you had no interest in being a student, I don't know why you'd want to fake it. That just sounds like a really boring time to me. It's just, it is surprising, though. I really wanted him to come back to Michigan for selfish reasons as well, obviously. I wanted him to come back to Michigan State and help the Spartans win. So, but
yeah, they'd be a way better team if he came back.
Right, exactly. And just like you, I do wish him nothing but the best, and I hope we hear his name called on the first day, and I hope that he, does the right things, makes the right steps to have a good career and not be one of the many, Spartans who left when they shouldn't have and flamed out in the NBA.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it, you know I be on a what?